Lew Fields, January 1867, July 20, 1941, Beverly Hills, California, born as Moses Schoenfeld, was an American actor, comedian, vaudeville star, theater manager, and producer. Biography: Fields was half of the great comic duo Weber and Fields, the other half being Joe Weber. Fields and Weber started performing in museums, circuses and variety houses in New York City. The young men had a Dutch act in which both portrayed German immigrants. Such dialect acts, German dialects, Irish dialects, Jewish, Yiddish dialects, Blackface and Black, African American vernacular English, were extremely common at the time, the comedy coming from the actors' mangling of the English language and dropping of malapropisms as they undertook life in America. In the case of Weber and Fields, or Mike and Meyer as their characters were known, and many of the other acts of this genre, this often involved stereotyping by dress and behavior, as well as comedic and often sympathetic portrayals of the characters' attempts to fit into American society. Crafty schemes of making it big in America, as well as the attempts of mere survival of immigrant poverty in America, were written into the script of these acts. A typical Mike and Meyer routine involved Mike, the short and clever one, unsuccessfully trying to coach Meyer, the tall and simple one, in a scheme to get them a free lunch at a working-class saloon. The two toured successfully for many years, becoming one of the most popular and profitable acts in vaudeville. In 1896, the partners opened the Weber and Fields Music Hall, where they produced very successful burlesques of popular Broadway shows. In the music hall's casts were some of the greatest performers and comics on the American stage at that time, including Lillian Russell, Ross and Fenton, Fate Templeton, and a Wolf Hopper. Some of their routines were Pouce Café, Hurly Burly, Whirly Gig, Fiddle Dee Dee, Hoity Toity, Twirly Whirly, and Whoop-de-Doo. The duo separated in 1904, and Weber took over operations at the music hall. Fields also went on to produce many musicals. When Fields starred in the 1911 stage comedy, The Henpecks, one of the supporting comedians in the cast was Vernon Castle, who went on to become a famous ballroom dancer. In 1921, Fred Allen and Nora Bayes toured with Fields. During the tour the orchestra was conducted by 19-year-old Richard Rodgers, who in 1920 contributed songs with lyrics by Lawrence Hart to the Lew Fields production of Poor Little Ritz Girl. In 1923, Weber and Fields partnered yet again for a Lita Forrest film sound film short, where the team recreated their famous pool hall routine. This film premiered at the Rivoli Theater in New York City on April 15, 1923. 3 years later, the duo were among those supporting Will Rogers and Mary Garden on the NBC Radio Network's November 15, 1926 debut broadcast. Their own NBC series followed in 1931. Weber and Fields also reunited for the December 27, 1932 inaugural show at Radio City Music Hall, which proved to be the last stage appearance of the two performers as a team. In the RKO Radio Pictures film, The Story of Vernon and Irene Castle, 1939, Fields appeared as himself, reenacting a slapstick comedy scene from The Henpecks. They gave a cameo performance performing their casino routine in the 1940 movie Lillian Russell.